What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, UConn is home of some of the greatest women's basketball players to ever play in the game. I'm talking about Maya Moore, Swing Cash, Sue Bird, right? There's lots of names when we talk about UConn and how great they are. And now, Paige Beckers has etched her name even deeper in the UConn history books, surpassing none other than probably the greatest UConn herself, Diana Taurasi, in the UConn's all-time scoring list. So, pretty cool, right? But before we actually dive into what specifically Paige Beckers did yesterday, let's actually just take a quick moment to remember just how dominant Diana Taurasi was when she was in Storrs. Now, guys, when we talk about UConn royalty, when it comes to basketball, for sure, Diana Taurasi is right up there at the top. She wasn't just the star for UConn. She was really the backbone of the dynasty that UConn was building. From 2001 to 2004, Diana Taurasi led the Huskies to 3 straight national championships. I'm talking 3, y'all. Not 1, not 2, but 3 national championships. She was a 2-time National Player of the Year, a 3-time All-American. She had awards up the wazoo. And y'all, she did it all with a swagger that only Diana Taurasi can do. Ultimately, when her career was over in Storrs, she finished averaging 15 points a game, which does not seem like a ton nowadays, but the scoring was not the way scoring is nowadays. You weren't scoring as many points as they are now. So it meant a lot more back then, right? But her senior year, she averaged 16.2 points a game. Her junior year, 17.9 points a game. But again, averaged 15 points a game during her career at Storrs. She ended up playing in 144 games. She was flat out fantastic. Ended up getting drafted number 1 to the WNBA, and then, she's still playing to this day. Or maybe she'll retire. We don't know. We don't know what she's going to do in 2025. But, Diana Taurasi was the end-all, be-all in a lot of ways for UConn and really helped to, further cement what he was really doing. What Diana Taurasi, or what Geno Auriemma was really doing there. And I think it's pretty awesome. Ultimately, Diana Taurasi, when she was all said and done, she ended up scoring 2,156 career points. She was the first player to 2,000 points for UConn. She also was the first player to 600 assists and 600 rebounds as well. And of course, she was the number 1 draft pick in the W. Now, when we talk about Diana Taurasi and what she meant to UConn, just think about this quote. This is probably the most famous quote, I would say, most famous quote when it comes to Geno talking about Diana. He said, "We have Diana and you don't." Yeah, because that was truly what it was. They had Diana, so they gonna win, and you didn't, so you wasn't gonna win. And that's how they really operated.
People got really offended one year when they said, "What's the secret to your success?" One of them. And I said, "Well, we have Diana Taurasi and you don't." And that became like a big thing. He's an arrogant. I'm actually giving you a backhanded compliment. You call timeout, I call timeout. You talk to your team, I talk to my team. You're talking to some normal schmo that doesn't understand what you're talking about. I'm talking to Diana Taurasi. If you were talking to her and I was talking to your players, you would have won that game. That's what I was trying to say.
And then we fast forward, from 2004 when her career at UConn ended. Fast forward that to 2025, and now Paige Beckers is making her own legendary mark on UConn with her 23-point performance against UConn, or in UConn's game over Seton Hall. She ended up moving up ahead of Diana Taurasi on the all-time list, now sitting at number 9 with 2,158 points in total so far. At least, well, I'm sure there'll be a lot more where that came from. That's for sure. Now let's actually talk about Paige Beckers, right? Paige Beckers is just 21 points from climbing up even higher on that list. The next stop is to surpass Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. And y'all, I love saying Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. I think she has one of the funnest names in the world. Like, if y'all remember, like, back in the day when she was actually at UConn, like, when she would knock down a three, they'd be like, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. Anyway.
Jefferson with a pass outside. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. Yes, another triple. Jefferson putting on a show. Here's Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis with a great look on a three.
Okay, Paige Beckers, she's been doing her thing. And she's going to keep pushing higher and higher, assuming she does not get hurt. She had a bit of a scare in last night's Seton game. Here's a clip of that. And at first I was like, oh man, is she going to be out? But she ended up returning back to the game and finished out the game. And so she seems to be fine. So that's great news. But here's the thing about Paige Beckers. Yes, Paige Beckers can score. But there's a lot of little things that Paige Beckers does that just help to show how elite she is. It's her ability just to read the floor and decide what the best thing to do is. It's her ability to play defense. It's her ability to get players involved, right? And Geno kind of put it best, right? He said, she's one of those rare players who sees everything on the court and just makes her team better. Not just with points, but just with everything that she does.
Being aggressive, whole season. This South Carolina, she's aggressive, going downhill and creating a lot of speed. As you're looking at her game develop, you see she's starting to get it to, be aggressive, more aggressive. Because once you start being aggressive, it opens up the floor for everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. She draws a lot of attention to herself, which is good. And obviously, she could go out there and try to get 25 shots every night if she wanted it to be that way, but she doesn't. And like she said, I just want to make sure that she takes advantage of all the opportunities that she has. But every time she does force the action, every time she is coming down the floor, and she's one of the few players out there that you see her head's always up and she sees everything that's going on. So the more aggressive she is, as you said, I think the better our team is. And that doesn't always represent how many points you scored, how many shots you took. I thought she played a great game over the weekend, and she played really well today. And what, she take 13 shots or something like that. So we count on her for a lot of things. I think the best thing she does is she plays defense and she rebounds, and a lot of big scorers, they just kind of focus on one thing.
And yes, Paige Beckers has not been scoring as much as she could. She hasn't, right? She does pass up shots that it's like, oh man, girl, shoot that shot, right? Sometimes she doesn't show some that much aggressiveness. But when you just think of the whole of what Paige Beckers has done, like, still crazy impressive. And she's still crazy talented. But let's kind of put it in perspective, guys. Paige Beckers became the fastest UConn player to ever reach 2,000 points, beating Maya Moore's record by 6 games. She is a Wooden Award winner, a Naismith Player of the Year. She's a 2-time Final Four All-Tournament Selection player. And remember, guys, she missed a full season due to a ACL tear. A full season. And then right before she tore her ACL, she missed like 19 games the previous year. So she is someone who's missed a whole bunch of games. And if you ask her, guys, Paige Beckers is not focused on records, right? She's focused on winning. And that really is the UConn way. The UConn way is to win. They have not won yet since Paige Beckers has been on the team. They've gotten to the championship game, but they have not won the national championship yet. And with the legacy that Diana Taurasi and others have helped build, it's up to Paige Beckers to help carry that torch on to the future. These are 2 all-time greats, 1 legendary program in UConn. Paige Beckers is climbing up the ranks, but Diana Taurasi's legacy will always loom large at UConn. The Question is, how high will Paige Beckers go in the UConn record books? And can she do the one thing that Diana Taurasi left with that Paige still hasn't gotten? A national championship. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll see. But here's something that I find very, very interesting. So, guys, if you go to UConn's website, you can see the amount of games that Diana Taurasi ultimately played. Diana Taurasi played in 144 games during her UConn career. Okay? 144. Put that in mind. Paige Beckers has only played in 103 games. It's just amazing. Like, yes, Paige Beckers has been in college for a long time, right? You know, she came into college the same year as Angel and Caitlin, right? Came in the same year. And she's still in college. She still could come back for another year, though she said she's not going to do that. She's going pro. But I just want to put it in perspective of how many games Paige Beckers missed due to injury. Like, it's a lot of games. And so, like, yes, you know, people talk about, oh, she's been in college for forever. She has, but also she's been injured for forever. I mean, again, 144 games that Diana played in 4 years. And Paige Beckers in 5 years is only at 103. So put that in perspective a little bit. Anyway, what do y'all think about Paige Beckers and her recent accomplishment? Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Do you ultimately think that she's going to, keep climbing higher and higher up that list? I think she will. Assuming she stays healthy, I think UConn can really make some noise this year. I think that win against, or the dominant win, I should say, against South Carolina really did open some eyes up a little bit. So we'll ultimately see what happens. But yeah, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.